tonight's presentation. I'd like to begin by mentioning the Maplewood Center because of its relation to the Radcliff Center. These slides will be up on the screens. Nearly 3 years ago, at the end of 2019, we started to plan for the renovation of the Maplewood Center. The facility is very antiquated and has limited space, so the long-term benefits of the facility were very constrained. At that time, the decision was made to consider expanding the Maplewood Center with one control access point as well as a gymnasium. As you can see on the screen, the new entrance and parking was designed to be on the western side of the building, in addition to a full-size athletic gymnasium to be built, allowing an entrance to the gymnasium from different hallways. The interior of the building was also going to receive a facelift to make the facility more inviting. The project was so far along that it was the original project that Garden City, which requested funding from Wayne County for the two new additions. But then the Radcliff Center became available to the city to purchase, and we moved away from the reconstruction of Maplewood Center and focused our attention on the Radcliff Center. It should be stated that the old building of Maplewood is no cost to the city to operate in the future. The diagram on the screen indicates the green section as GSRP, the beige section as the library, and the purple as the thrift shop. The rest of the building, not colored in, is still available for another educational program in the future. The revenue brought in from the rent of GSRP and the library is now $128,000 a year. With the annual cost for utilities insurance of just over $70,000, the city will start to have an annual profit of up to $58,000 a year to assist with miscellaneous repairs as they come about, such as AC or boiler issues in the future. And we still have 1/3 of the building to rent. In short, Maplewood Center is becoming a profit center for the city. As history would dictate, Schoolcraft College originally approached the city to ask us if we would assist the college in demolishing the Radcliff Center so that 60 new homes could be built on the site. Not knowing the city was currently considering a major investment in the Maplewood Center, the college thought the 60 new homes would be attractive to the city for tax revenue. Upon hearing that the 14 acres in the building were to be sold off to a developer for $175,000, the city jumped at the chance to purchase the building as the city's new community center. Through a quick decision by the mayor and city council, the city purchased the 14 acres and 78,000 square foot building for $175,000. Since the building was used as a college just 4 months ago, the Radcliff Center is in very good condition for a school, but needed some reconstruction to be a community center. In the satellite view of the property on the screen, it's very clear how much of the acreage is now owned by the city. The property borders North Wildwood to the west and Radcliff to the east. The complex includes tremendous parking as well as about 1/3 of the grass area to the south between the building and the school district's administration building. What was just added to the screen is the construction of a new entrance and an athletic gymnasium. Similar to the Maplewood Center, the same two amenities could be used at the Radcliff Center. Currently, the western entrance opens up into a hallway, leaving essentially no space for a proper lobby. The addition of a 1,600 square foot lobby would control access and make the lobby a more attractive entrance. As for the larger square, that would be about a 7,000 square foot athletic gymnasium for youth and adult sports alike. Youth teams such as volleyball, basketball, or such could take place, while open gym would also allow for individual play or pickup games. The large red box is what is used to be used as a small gymnasium for the former junior high school, but was changed to a theater by Schoolcraft. The theater will be discussed later in the presentation. As you'll see in the following presentation, the facility is truly being designed as a place for residents and guests of all ages, seniors in the morning, teens during the day, and adults during the evening. While some different age programs will overlap, the majority of programs and activities will be split into those three categories and time periods. During the mornings, while most teens are in school and adults are working, the new facility will be open for active and passive seniors to take computer classes, compete in the game room filled with billiards and large games, take part in competitive card games, or find some time to exercise in the senior fitness room. After a class or just taking a walk through the hallways as a form of exercise, seniors can then stop by the gift shop and cafe to purchase a coffee or pastry, just to hang out with new and old friends in one of the several sitting areas that would be established and also discussed tonight. Then in the afternoon, the facility would change its focus to engage the school-aged youth of the community to be a safe place away from roaming the streets. With Garden City Middle School next door, the new facility and programming will be able to serve the perfect age. There will be study areas as well as special activities for computer programming. In the evening, the facility will transition again to more adult-oriented programming While an activity such as youth dance classes will take place in the afternoon and the evening, computer classes, the game room, arts classes, etc. will be offered to adult residents. While many parents are waiting for the youngsters in the dance program, the parents can now participate in their own active or passive activity. As with the morning crowd, the evening visitors will also find the gift store and cafe open to obtain a coffee, a snack, or some Garden City apparel. While we thought we had until July to take over the facility, Schoolcraft College was ready to hand over the building when their last class ended in May. Due to Schoolcraft's earlier departure, city staff was left to fast-track some projects that we expected to have more time to develop. An immediate issue that became apparent was the need to replace the internet servers so that the current tenants could continue to have internet access and continue their work without disruption. An immediate patch was employed, but the facility is still short of Wi-Fi throughout the building. Schoolcraft removed all access point modems, leaving the city with the infrastructure, but not the hardware. So item number 11B7 tonight is the staff's request for the installation of all access points for universal Wi-Fi throughout the building. Also, as indicated in the presentation, the work at the new Radcliff Center has been exceptionally varied, from the general cleanup and removal of debris to the moving of the food pantry to the construction of the new dance room walls. The city's been very instrumental in reducing the cost of the redevelopment of the facility. So now I'd like to give you an overview of not only what's been done so far, but what's expected in the next coming months. One of the first projects in which we focused on was the move of the food pantry into Radcliff Center. Initially, the rooms were emptied of chairs and tables, and then the coolers, shelving, and food items were transported from the Maplewood Center to the Radcliff Center with the help of some community volunteers. As indicated on the screen, the new food pantry is much more spacious than in their old location. In addition, across the hall from the new food pantry is an additional room for the storage and a gather of commodities, as well as a small office space for Pat, the director of the food pantry, to keep appropriate records and meet with individuals and families looking for help. This past year, the food pantry served an average of 100 families a month, including some needing emergency food. On average, the food pantry puts out roughly 2,100 pounds of food each month to the most vulnerable among us. During early discussions of what the Radcliff Center could be, we quickly moved to meet with our long-term dance director and instructor, Lori, to discuss what was needed to make the dance program even more outstanding. By next June, Lori will have been the dance program director for 40 years. The current dance program includes over 500 participants per week, attending up to 50 classes offered per week. The issue with the old school building was that since none of the rooms in the Radcliff Center were large enough to host dance classes, changes needed to be made to turn 4 rooms into 2. Due to the need to complete the dance rooms as soon as possible, the Public Works Department took on the task of personally reconstructing the rooms. As indicated in the picture on the right, all former computers, tables, and chairs had to be removed, leading to the removal of a cinder block wall by sledgehammer. The next step was to remove the drop ceilings and grid to raise the ceiling height for more headroom during dance classes. Once the ceiling tiles were removed, there were obvious openings between the adjoining rooms and the hallway. Through advisement of the building official and the city fire marshal, staff was directed to fully secure the openings as indicated on screen 3. On the screen, 3 sides of each room needed additional work to make sure the rooms were fire safe. Another issue for the dance room was in order to hang the mirrors along the walls needed to be leveled off. To do so, the staggered walls were made even from end to end. As indicated on the screen, the walls had to be studded and sheets of wood were installed from floor to ceiling to even off the walls in preparation of hanging the mirrors. As indicated in the picture on the bottom right, the next step was the painting of the ceilings black and the walls a steel gray. New LED lights were then hung from the ceiling. LED lights will reduce long-term costs by 50% with a payback period of 3 years. As shown on the screen, the hardwood floors look outstanding. For such a historic program in our city and one in which thousands of Garden City families have taken part in, and thousands more will in the future, having an exceptional floor is a wonderful attribute of the program and the community. From what the city staff walked into in the picture on the left side of the screen to what the dance program will have from now on is tremendous. The progression of the work in the picture is stark and shows the amount of time that was put into this one-time project. The work completed over the last month will benefit the city for decades. And keep in mind, there are 2 rooms that look identical to the room that's on the right. 2 nice additions to the dance program are a professional dance store and an office space, as well as a parents' waiting room. What was formerly the Schoolcraft College bookstore is now the dance store. Connected to the store is an office space for the dance program director to manage the extensive program. The picture on the right indicates an empty room that in the future will have chairs and tables and things for parents of the dance students. The room's expected to be outfitted with furniture and televisions with a closed-circuit video system so that the dance rooms can be seen on the televisions. As for the new computer lab, the picture on the left is the room as it is today, while the picture on the right shows what it could look like. The new computer lab will be a well-appointed room and enable the city to offer an array of computer program classes. From learning how to use PowerPoint and create Excel spreadsheets to how to Skype with family members, there'll be a good share of diverse computer classes available. The purchase of the new computers is being requested tonight as item 11B6, with funding for the room coming from a Wayne County grant. The future game room started out as 2 small classrooms with a cinder block wall between the two. The wall was removed along with the ceiling tile, which was uneven between the 2 rooms and had warped tiles. The request to install a new ceiling as well as the new LED lighting is being requested tonight as item 11B4, with funding coming from a Wayne County grant. As indicated on the screen, the upcoming game room will house a variety of large games such as billiards, ping pong, foosball, table shuffleboard, bumper pool, etc. There will also be televisions broadcasting sporting events as well as seating areas. This is a room like several others that we're creating in which small groups of friends will meet regularly to get together, thereby creating a new tradition. The new game tables will also be bid out soon and brought back to the council for consideration. What's expected to be the most attractive program to the city's youth between the ages of 9 and 15 is the Teen Tech Room. It's not lost on the staff that the community center is located adjacent to the city's middle school with students in that age range of the Teen Tech program. In addition, Farmington Elementary School, which houses youth in the age of 9 to 11, is about a half-a-mile walk from the new center. One of the most vulnerable age groups is exactly the target of this type of programming. While many of the city's youth has someone at home waiting for their arrival after school, others often just hang out looking for something to do. The Teen Tech program will keep kids in a safe space with a variety of computer games and programs to play, as well as a movie area. The long-term plan for the Teen Tech Room is to develop a competitive esports program so that the Garden City youth can virtually compete with teams from across the country. Imagine our city's youth being able to use the computer game skills they have to compete in a room such as what you see on the screen. One of the few rooms that was already ready to go was the cardio room. So the cardio room is currently ready to house all types of fitness programs, as you see. On the screen now is a picture of the room that is yet to receive a makeover. The senior fitness room will feature each of the machines indicated on the screen. The heavy commercial grade fitness equipment, which is tonight's item 11B5, will last for many years, as well as reduce the city's liability of unstable donated equipment. As for the room, new ceiling tiles with LED lighting will be installed, as well as a rubber floor and decorative metal plate on the wall as seen behind the picture. The fitness equipment will only be available to our registered seniors, and it's not meant to be a replacement for a professional gym membership. The few pieces of equipment should complement our local fitness centers, not replace them. A card room is a staple for community centers, which at this point is a great way for friends to get together, play in cards, or some other activity that doesn't include technology. The new card room will additionally have shelves of board games and puzzles available for diverse interests. While there may be some set times for classes such as bridge, euchre, and mahjong, between classes the room will be available to anyone to hang out and play their own game. The picture on the left is what the room looks like now. The picture on the right indicates what the room could resemble with a one-time makeover. The room that's used by Schoolcraft College for their nursing program that was used features numerous sinks is now being reconstructed into the city's new arts and craft room. As indicated, the room is currently being cleared to open the center of the room to allow for numerous students per class, and the abundance of sinks will work perfect for cleaning up after painting classes. I'm a firm believer that a great confidence builder for the youth is to put them on a stage. What was once a small gymnasium by the former middle school was transformed into a theater by Schoolcraft College. To build a theater program for the youth and adults alike, as well as create a feeder system for the high school drama program, we're working with new high school theater director Alan Bennett. Alan's tremendously experienced in theater, teaching, and production, so we're hoping for great success in our theater program for the youth and local adults. In recognizing that the program is for everyone from beginner to experienced, We're calling it the Garden City Civic Theater, civic being the root word of the word city. The new Radcliff Center also affords the opportunity to expand our free services for our military veterans. While the city was able to offer services through the American Legion in the past, the program is now expanding to include Wayne County Veteran Services. The unique difference between the two programs is that the American Legion deals with veteran health issues and how to navigate the VA, while Wayne County Veteran Services focuses on assisting veterans with financial issues such as paying their utility bills. As indicated on the screen, there is plenty of room available in the new office space to accommodate even more veteran service programs in the future. Currently under construction is the future gift shop and cafe. As you can see on the screen, half the store is being created to be a cafe whereby coffee, drinks, and snacks will be available for purchase. The other side of the gift shop is receiving slat boards on the walls to hang shelving and Garden City clothing for purchase, as well as arts and crafts for sale. As you can see, the expectation is to make the gift store a destination for anyone looking to purchase Garden City apparel for themselves or a gift for family members who might have moved out of the area. With the potential of hundreds of people within the Radcliff Center throughout the day, the gift shop is expected to be a very well-visited location. All profit received at the gift shop and cafe will be used to offset senior program expenses, such as the cost of senior luncheons, senior bus trips, and/or other senior activities. In making the Radcliff even more inviting as a place for our residents to relax and enjoy, we're currently considering furniture to be located throughout the center. The picture on the left shows one of the larger areas that will entail a fun sitting area like the picture on the right. There are numerous areas in which 2 chairs will be joined together with a small table to allow people to either sit alone or have a private conversation with a friend. One of the hidden gems of Radcliff is what we've been calling the front porch. The covered patio formerly used as an entrance to the old middle school is going to be repurposed into a wonderful outdoor patio. 6 months a year during the fall and spring, the weather would be ideal to sit with new friends and old friends and either between activities or just to relax with a coffee and hang out. We're considering installing a couple of sets of patio furniture as well as individual seating areas wrapped around the patio. To additionally add to the safety and ambiance of the front porch, decorative fencing approved by the City Council at the last meeting will be installed around the whole concrete slab. All the sitting areas throughout Radcliff will make the facility much more inviting for everybody. Beyond the establishment of the dance program within the Radcliff Center, the second most active program is that of the Family Resources Center. Perfectly situated with 2 adjoining side playrooms, the new FRC offices will need to be reconstructed to house the Recreation Division. Items 11B2 tonight includes the reconstruction of the office space to fit the needs of the FRC. The project will include the removal of the ceiling, lighting, a couple of walls, and the carpet. After a few walls are installed to create 4 offices, a new ceiling and LED lighting will be installed, as well as new carpeting. The funding for the reconstruction of the FRC office comes directly from the revenue brought in by the hard work of the FRC staff of Sean, Kelly, Zach, and Yasmin. Unlike the past, when the administrative offices of the Parks and Recreation Department were located on the 2nd floor of the ice rink in City Park, the new department's office space is now easily accessible in the new Radcliff Center in a nice office space. One of the great benefits of moving into the new center is the additional space that allows the city to work with our community partners. The GCBA, GCYA, Kiwanis, Rotary Club, Garden Club, etc. will all be contacted to offer them several shared office spaces as well as shared conference room for their executive meetings. One of the biggest troubles that community groups face is the need to change their mailing addresses and phone numbers when their leadership changes, which is oftentimes annually. Using the Radcliff Center as a home base for their corporate documents, as well as the opportunity to have an office and a conference room at their fingertips, is truly a great benefit to any of our community groups. Item 11B3 on tonight's council agenda is the replacement of the hallway lighting and ceiling tiles throughout the entire facility. The reconstruction project would not only update the appearance of the facility, but it will also reduce the city's long-term expenses. Replacing the antiquated lighting with LED lighting should see a reduction of 50% in the utility bills, leading to a 3-year payback for the replacement. After 3 years, the city's cost for the hallway lighting should be about half the cost it is today for a long-term savings. During the last council meeting, the council approved the installation of fencing at the Radcliff Center. On the screen, you'll see the 3 locations where the fencing will be installed. The A is the food pantry garden, B is the Head Start playground, and C is the front porch. The decorative fencing will offer a more attractive look to the facility, as well as offer continuity around the building. There are 2 rental groups currently in the Radcliffe Center that wanted to stay in our facility during the transition from Schoolcraft to the city. There are a Head Start program and T-Lab program. Head Start is a federally funded program for preschoolers, and we're utilizing only 4 rooms and some office space before the city purchased the building. Head Start has requested 2 additional rooms for the upcoming year, of which we can oblige. Tonight, item 11B10 is the Head Start agreement, whereby Head Start has agreed to pay a rental contract to the city of $104,000 per year for the rental space. While the former Head Start contract was for approximately $74,000 per year, I increased the rental rate when they requested the 2 additional rooms. Tonight's new lease agreement includes the increase of $30,000 a year, as well as an automatic 2% increase every year from now on. On the next council agenda, the T-Lab contract will appear. While the current T-Lab contract is for approximately $42,000 a year, I'm negotiating with a contract with Dr. Nixon for more than that. T-Lab is an international tutoring testing program for people of all ages. National certification tests can be taken on location, while the program is also set up for tutoring of all levels of children in person and throughout the internet. As you can see on the screen, T-Lab's facility is well appointed, offering a very professional image to the Radcliffe Center. Together, the city will bring in over $150,000 a year in rental fees to cover the general expenses of the facility. We're confident that the $150,000 a year will not only cover the fixed costs of the Radcliffe Center, but will also defray the cost of future maintenance. From that point on, it would be the responsibility of the staff to do their best to find the sweet spot between cost recovery and the quality of life programming. As indicated on the screen, the Parks and Recreation Department, headed by Interim Director Megan, is only beginning to add programming to the offerings at the Radcliffe Center. Over time, this list will continue to multiply as more rooms become available for future programming. On the next few slides, you'll be able to see a breakdown per room or activity and its costs. Some of the expenses have already been paid, while others have yet to be purchased or brought before the City Council. What is being shown now is the expected money to be spent, with none of the money coming directly from city taxes. This first slide shows the cost of the building, as well as the dance rooms and exclusive waiting room for the guests of the dance program. As indicated on this slide, the expenses for the fitness room, the game room, and the computer lab are being covered through a Wayne County grant the city was awarded last month. Tonight, the fitness equipment and the computer equipment are both being requested for purchase under this grant. This third slide lists future purchases that have not yet been made. Other than the slat board that was hung in the gift store to display city apparel, none of the purchases on this slide have been made. Similar to the last slide, no money has been spent on any of these projects on the slide either. As requested, this information is to show what the overall budget would be. Listed on the bottom, the request to fund this FRC office construction is on tonight's agenda for consideration by the council. 2 items on this slide are also on tonight's agenda for consideration by the City Council. They include the hallway ceiling lights, which would reduce the facility's long-term expenses, and Wi-Fi, which would allow free Wi-Fi throughout the rooms and the hallways. When considering the funding for the facility, one-time expenses, there are 4 areas in which we have considered. First of all, through a Wayne County grant of $200,000, we have the opportunity to create the computer lab, the game room, and the fitness center. Several of those contracts are being requested for approval this evening. Secondly, through the federal funding of the American Rescue Plan Act, the city received $2.7 million. The city currently has a request for $4 million from Wayne County, but to receive the funding, which is still under review by Wayne County, the city would put up $1 million as a match for the $4 million. The $1 million in funding did not come from city taxes. A third area of funding is from the Family Resource Center, in which $37,600 request for tonight for the reconstruction of their office space is being derived from the revenue garnered by the FRC through their grant-funded programs. And another form of funding from the Radcliffe Center is the direct revenue generated from the 2 main rental groups. At around $150,000 per year in rent, we have the ability to cover some one-time projects now, and then later cover the costs of ongoing programming and maintenance. It should be noted again that none of the funding discussed is coming from tax money of the city. There is no tax increase for these purchases, and the one-time purchases are being made without affecting the tax revenue the city receives from the taxpayers of Garden City. The slide on the screen now is showing all the expenses from the earlier slides, including many projects that are in the future. 1/4 of the ARPA funding includes the $210,000 for the building purchase and the equipment which was left in the facility. The numbers you are seeing is not what was spent, but what would be spent if all of the projects move forward with none of the money coming from city taxes. As indicated in this final slide, thank goodness, the money that was spent so far is around $375,000. Of the $375,000, according to purchasing policies, almost $300,000 was directly approved by the City Council. Other items include staff overtime to work on the dance room walls, ceilings, the purchase of needed wood, the mirrors for the dance room, and some carpet installation, etc. Half of the miscellaneous expenses was to pay city employees overtime for the work they performed in reconstructing the facility, which was a lot less expensive than contracting out the work. So in the end, the Maplewood Center will now be a profit center for the city, and in addition, the Radcliff Center is being reconstructed without city taxes and has 2 renters who cover the cost of Radcliff Center's fixed expenses, offering our residents of all ages a safe place as well as full of educational opportunities. So as always, great things are happening in Garden City.